Childhood Christmas memories in Ireland. Christina writes, "My father died when I was 2 years old. I have no Christmas memories from that time. We lived on a farm on the outskirts of a small Irish village. After my father's death, my mother married his brother, who owned a grocery shop in the village. So we moved down there, and that is where all my childhood memories are." My stepfather also had a small farm which was looked after by a workman who was greatly assisted by my mother. For years, I just took my mother for granted. In the mornings, I would be lying all warm and cosy in bed, and I would hear her, no matter if it was freezing outside with snow on the ground, already up and getting an early start on her jobs for that day. All my Christmas memories run together in a lovely, warm, fuzzy glow. Our 2-story house was large and cold, but there was always the AGA fuel burning stove in the kitchen that we would drape ourselves over to get warm, and there would be a roaring fire crackling away in the sitting room. We had no television, so we would all gather around the fire and talk to each other. My stepfather would tell us long, rambling stories that just went on and on. He made them up as he told them. Every story included a man from our village. It was always the same man, and always he would turn up at a very exciting time when we were least expecting him. We were so engrossed in the story that we would have forgotten him until he appeared. We used to laugh and laugh. My mother used to get us to work around the house, but I am remembering now that she gave us a rest at Christmas time. The food always arrived, and we just feasted on it and gave little thought to where it came from. But everything changed when I was 15. My mother wanted to go to the early Christmas church service so that she would be home early to get our Christmas dinner ready. My sister and I decided to go with her, just to get it over with. We were kneeling at the Holy Communion rail when I felt my mother, who was beside me, feebly grabbing my coat. I didn't think it was serious. My mother never had a problem, and I just thought she was making herself comfortable. Then she suddenly fell back and lay on the floor. She had fainted. I was shocked to see my mother being so helpless. The whole church service came to a halt. It was incredible to me to see this woman, who kept such a low profile all her life, being the center of attention. There was a nurse in the congregation who rushed forward and quickly revived her and took her outside. The service continued. When I had received the bread and wine, I went outside to find my mother. It was still dark. I found her, and suddenly I saw her for who she really was. All my selfishness seemed so pitiful. I took her arm and we walked slowly together. I grew up in that moment. It must have been the Lord who took hold of my heart and caused me to be concerned for someone other than myself. I remember feeling the sadness, knowing I could no longer live my life just caring for myself. I had been changed, and now I knew that I was burdened with caring for others, and life wasn't going to be so easy. I couldn't live their lives for them. Many years later, I really got to know God, and He has taken all my burdens from my shoulders. I still love others, and I pray for them. He will do the rest. The Apostle Paul tells us in Romans chapter 13, verse 8, "Owe nothing to anyone except to love and seek the best for one another. For he who loves his fellow man has fulfilled the law."